What's up, y'all? We done upgraded production. Cue my theme music.
Give me my theme music.
On today's episode of Cooking Naturally with Neo, we are going to be making 4 of my favorite meal prep staples. That is going to include some chocolate granola, peanut butter granola, banana nut muffins, and a specialty item that we're going to be trying today, which is going to be these blueberry yogurt with a lemon zest and an oat bar. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not gonna take long. Let's get into it. So I think I want to start with the granola because it's the easiest. I'm gonna start by preheating our oven to 400 because like I said, we're not trying to take all day. In my video, I will be using a lot of inexpensive food products, and that is simply because I don't want to overcomplicate eating healthy or eating whole food or eating plant-based or eating unrefined sugars or eating no flour and stuff like that. Like, everybody don't have access to organic food all the time. Everybody don't have access to inexpensive foods that are pre-made. So a lot of people, if you want to be plant-based and do it inexpensively, you're gonna have to tap in with your ancestors and make a lot of this stuff from scratch. I'm gonna just be real with you. So you gotta be smart with your grocery budget. So to start the granola off, it's really simple. You're gonna want to grab your oats, pour them into your bowl. Then you're gonna add whatever ingredients you want to add dry first. Then we're gonna add our wet ingredients, make it into like a kind of doughy cookie dough texture, and then we're gonna spread it onto a pan and place it in the oven. We're gonna start off with 2 cups of raw oats. And I'm using quick oats because the regular raw oats are very, very hard to. Second batch. Now this one's going to be my chocolate and this one's going to be my peanut butter. We're going to add some chia seeds into both of them for that extra fiber as well as omega-3s, and to also keep you full without overexpanding your stomach by eating too much. I added about 2 tablespoons to each. Now for this chocolate one, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now into both, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of this hemp protein and fiber protein powder. You don't have to use protein powder. You can use whatever protein powder you want if you do. If not, hemp seeds are good alternatives. Pumpkin seeds, things along that lines. Now for our last dry ingredient, we're going to add some coconut sugar. This is completely optional. You can use date sugar, you can use agave syrup, you can even use cane sugar if you're okay with that. However, I want to stay away from the refined sugar, so coconut sugar it is. I'm doing about 2 tablespoons in each. Alright, our next step is to whisk it up. If you talk about my whisk, you're anti-black. Simple. Mix, mix, mix till everything is incorporated. Mix, mix, mix till everything is incorporated. Ooh, this chocolate smells so good. Oh my goodness. Honey, now we see why that whisk broke like that. Okay, here's the chocolate. And here's the peanut butter. Now we're gonna add our dry ingredients. They were in fact the wet ones, not the dry ones. First up, both are going to get some Mexican vanilla. You can use whatever type of vanilla, vanilla bean, vanilla powder, whatever you want to use. I just like to add the vanilla because I love vanilla flavor. You can also substitute with whatever extract you would like your flavor to be. I'm gonna use about 2 cupfuls. It's probably about 2 teaspoons roughly in both. Then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Y'all, I'm not going to lie, I do not like using measurements. However, because I love you guys so much, I'm trying to at least come up with a slight little recipe or at least some kind of gauging. You let your ancestors guide you, baby. That's all I really can say. That's what I'll be doing. So I ended up doing 2 tablespoons of the oil. Now I'm going to exclusively work on the peanut butter before we add our last wet ingredient. I like using this Crazy Richards peanut butter because it's literally just peanuts in the ingredients. The oils that's at the top is just the oils from the natural separation. If you ever made peanut butter or almond butter, which is just as simple as putting almonds in a blender or a food processor, or well, you got to toast them in the oven first just to get the release of the oils, but you don't have to do that. You could just put them in the food processor, blend them up, boom, almond butter, peanut butter. But I specifically like this brand for that reason. This is a new jar. Y'all don't be leaving the paper on y'all jars. I know our folks do that, but I'm really working on it.
Now I want y'all to hold that thought, cause that's gonna come back to bite me in the behind later.
Now again, I normally would measure, but I'm not about to pour that peanut butter in that measuring spoon. So I'm gonna estimate, I would say about 2 to 3 heaping tablespoons of peanut butter. We really love peanut butter around here, so yeah. Now you want to give that a good mix, like I said, before we add in our last ingredient, because essentially this peanut butter is going to be our main wet ingredient that's going to hold our granola together. As y'all can see, it's already kind of giving that crumbly texture. So the last wet ingredient is just any kind of plant milk. Normally I use coconut, but this time I'm going to be using soy or almond. You can use whatever works best for you. Because this is peanut butter, I'm going to use almond for this one, and I think I'm going to either use soy or oat for the chocolate. So this is what the peanut butter looks like. It is already crumbly, so again, we don't need a lot of milk. So I'm going to add into this peanut butter one about 1/4 of a cup of milk, and we're going to go from there. As I'm mixing, I'm checking it to make sure it's not too wet and not too dry. Like I said, you want the texture of like a really crumbly cookie dough. So that way, when it goes into the oven, it'll crumble up even more, and you'll get that granola texture that you want. You don't want it to be too stiff, because then it's basically just a mess. This is the texture that I'm going for, because I like for my peanut butter granola to be really a little bit moist. So I don't leave it in the oven as long, and I also make sure it's a little bit extra wet. That's why I said wait to add the milk to the end. We're going to move on to the chocolate, and the chocolate is going to get at least 1/2 of a cup for right now, and then we're going to add more as we go.
I just want to say that I really did end up using a cup of milk. However, the clip got deleted.
Alright, y'all, so now we're going to add in our chocolate chips. This brand right here, I'll place a picture of it. It is top-notch allergen free. It is made with literally, I think, 3 ingredients. That's cocoa powder, cocoa butter, and cane sugar. We're going to add about a handful of these in there and then mix that up again. Look at that. That's what we're working with. Perfect. Alright, so our last step before putting it into the oven is to just place these on some cookie sheets lined with parchment paper. I'm just gonna show y'all. You wanna get your granola on there, and then we're just gonna spread it out, so that way when it bakes, it's not all stuck together like a granola bar. If you wanted to do granola bars, all you would do is just form them into the shape that you would like for them to be, and boom, you got you a granola bar. But for these, I'm just gonna make granola. Spread that out real good, real nice, and then you can crumble it together some more once you get it out of the oven. Now we're going to put these in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, now while we wait on our granola to get finished, we're going to start on our banana nut muffins. These are going to be made out of ripened bananas as well as oat flour. And guess what? I'm going to show you how to make oat flour, because nobody has time to spend over $10 for it in the store when you can quite literally get it for about $2. For your food processor, you're going to want to add some quick rolled oats. I'm doing about 2 cups. However, I'm just showing you guys how to make the flour right now. We're going to measure after we've ground it up. This to an airtight container. And I'm going to do this again until I have this whole container grounded up.
Now, I know someone's going to ask, well, what if I don't do oats, or what if I'm gluten-free? Other good alternatives include almond flour, coconut flour, einkorn flour, and spelt flour.
Alright, now that we got our oat flour grounded all up for the week, we're going to get ready to make our banana nut muffins. Now, I call these banana nut muffins, but they don't have any nuts in them because I like to actually add the nuts depending on what I'm eating them with. So if I'm eating the muffin by itself, I make it with some peanut butter or almond butter. If I'm eating it on top of my yogurt or with some yogurt, I may do walnuts or pumpkin seeds instead. Start by doing a cup and a half of the oat flour. I guess we're doing 2 cups. We're gonna have a lot of muffins, you guys. Yeah. Again, we're going to start with our dry ingredients first. So now we're going to go in with our coconut sugar. I'm going to do a little over a 1/4 because I kind of want mine really sweet. And then I'm also going to take some of that hemp seed protein powder. And again, I'm going to put about 1/3 cup in there. You know, just some added protein. Added fiber, all the good things. Now we're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. Go ahead and mix up all of your dry ingredients, and then we're going to add the wet one.
This is the fastest cashier I know, and he gets down.
All done. Now we're going to add a 1/2 cup of our non-dairy milk. Again, you can use whatever non-dairy milk of choice. For this recipe, I will be doing almond. And then we're going to mix that up until we get the consistency of like pancake mix when you're making pancakes. And if you don't know what that looks like, then it's basically just a really loose texture. It's runny, but it's not runny to the point where it doesn't hold a shape. Alright, so far I just put in a cup. I did 2 1/2 cups. And this is what we have. So approximately 1 cup to 2 cups milk to flour ratio. And here's the consistency that we're working with. Again, it's not too runny, but it also holds its shape. Now why y'all didn't tell me we didn't add the banana? How we gonna make banana nut muffins with no banana, y'all? This is just regular oat muffins. So, and I just dropped half the banana on the floor. I guess we're going to start off with just a 1/2 of a ripened banana. And you want to just mash that into your mix. And mash it, mash it, mash it. Really, most of the time I put the banana in first and then the milk. But there goes the oven. So I guess it's divine timing. So since that last banana decided it wanted to jump on the floor, we're going to have 1 1/2 bananas instead of 2. And then again, you just want to mash it into your mix, because your bananas, if you don't have milk, you can actually use the banana as your wet ingredient to hold it together. So essentially it would just be the oats, the sugar, and the banana. And if you want to omit the sugar, you can as well, because ripened bananas are very, 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 very sweet. Okay, so now our banana is really all incorporated, and that kind of just brought everything together. You see how it's like silky smooth now? You see? Okay, so now we're about to pour this batter into our muffin tins and get those into the oven. Now normally I would pick between these two, and I probably would go with the muffin loaves, but I think I'm gonna go with the Little Debbie style muffins because I'm just childish like that. Why not? This is messy. Ooh, I know some people like that. Let me fish. We're gonna fill them about 3/4 of the way full. Just don't overfill it, because they will rise sometimes and you don't want it to rise out of here. So I'm gonna come back when I got all these full, because as y'all can see, I'm gonna have to do a lot of cleaning up. Alright, so I actually did have enough to fill up this one as well. So I'm going to clean this up and pop these in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then I'll be back to show you guys the finished product.
Alright, y'all, I had to jump in this narrator box because I had to focus at the time. While we wait on our muffins to bake, we're going to work on the blueberry topping for our yogurt bars. To a saucepan, I just added some oil and some fresh blueberries, and I mashed them all up on low heat. Then you're going to want to add you some coconut sugar because we're going to turn this into like a jam syrup consistency. Of course, you know, I went in with some vanilla and half of a lemon. Now, don't throw that away because you're going to want to take it and you going to want to add some of the lemon zest to the pan as well. Look at there. Ooh, that's really gonna kick up that flavor. Now while we let that simmer, you want to add about a tablespoon of water until it becomes this thick consistency. When you scrape your spoon across the pan, you should see the bottom of it. Now if you want more of a pudding like consistency, you can add some agar powder, which is just like gelatin.
Alright y'all, so now we're going to be making our crust for our blueberry yogurt bars. It is going to be made out of oat milk and soy milk. As always, you can substitute for whatever flour or plant-based milk you want to use, as well as if you want to add chia seeds, any nuts or anything like that, you can do that as well. For me, mine is just going to be plain. It's just going to be oats, the plant-based milk, and then a little bit of coconut sugar and vanilla, and I may squeeze a little lemon juice in there. We'll see. All right, so we're gonna do about a cup of the oat flour that we grounded up. All right, that's good. A little bit more. And then real simple, real smooth, we're gonna put our coconut sugar. I'm eyeballing this, y'all, because I don't really have an exact measurement. We're gonna go in with our, y'all see that? We're gonna go in with our plant milk. I'm just wasting everything. And then we're gonna go in with our vanilla. There we go. Let me clean this up, y'all, because I don't like having messes while I'm working. We clean as we go around here. Okay. Mix that up. Nice and good. Get nice and incorporated. And then mine is a little bit runny. I want it to kind of be pliable like Play-Doh. Like a dough. So I'm just going to add in my flour until it's the consistency that I want. Which, again, like I said, is not as runny as the muffins that we just made. But it's also not as solid as the granola that we made. Okay, this is what we have. Again, it holds its shape, so it's not too runny. And it's going to give us a great crust for our bars. You know what? Why not? I'm just going to add a little chia seeds in there. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with chia seeds. Alright, so the container that I'm going to be using today is just this little glass container that has the top to go to it. And all I'm going to do is just pour my crust in and layer it like a pie. Come on, get out of here. I'm gonna need a spoon or something. Hold on. Alright, got the spatula. And again, we're just gonna push this down into our container. Damn. We're gonna push it down as much as we can. Alright, now we have our crust in the bottom of our pan. Our next layer is going to be our layer of yogurt. Today, I'm going to be using Silk plain almond milk yogurt. You can use whatever yogurt you want to use. If you want to use regular yogurt, use regular yogurt. If you want to use Greek yogurt, use Greek yogurt. If you want to use almond milk, coconut milk, it don't matter. Use whatever yogurt you think is good. I personally like this one because it doesn't have too many ingredients. Yeah, it may be a
Now, y'all remember when I said I was coming to bite me in the behind?
couple of ingredients that I don't like, but it's not too much. So I'm going to shake it up. And then all I'm going to do is just, again, Add a nice little heaping, nice little layer. So we're just gonna spread our yogurt as another layer. Imagine like you're making a banana pudding or something. Spread them, girl, spread them. And then we're gonna just, I like for mine to look pretty, you know? It's like I'm baking a cake or something. Okay. Boom, got our yogurt. Now our compote, or you know, our top jelly layer should have already cooled down by now. So let me go check on that and then I'll bring. Alright, so our blueberry lemon topping has completely cooled. As y'all can see, look at that. Ooh, come on with it. Alright, so now we're just gonna pour that on top. Ooh, that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, look at it, y'all. This is gonna be so good. I'm so excited. You know how you just be plotting on something when you cooking it, you don't even want to taste the finished product. You just ready to eat it. Yeah, I don't even want to taste the finished product. I just want to eat it. I just know it's gonna be good when I get done. Alright, now we got all of that on there. Again, we're just gonna spread it, make it look all pretty and stuff. Alright, now let's get into it, baby. Y'all ready to take a bite of this? It's gonna be so good. Look at those layers.
Now, while you looking at this beautiful presentation, I do want you to know you should probably cut this beforehand. Yeah, I regretted that later.
Now we're gonna pop this into the freezer for about 4 to 6 hours or overnight. And I'm gonna come back and show you guys the finished product when it's done. Whew. Yeah, that's everything. I'm gonna wait for all this stuff to cool and I'm gonna package it up and then I'll get back with you guys on the finished product. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm so grateful for y'all to be here. I'm not gonna lie, your girl is tired. This took approximately 3 to 4 hours, including my cleanup and all that stuff like that. But 3 to 4 hours for 3 to 4 days worth of snacks, I think that's a good deal. And most of my snacks are flour free. They are made with hemp, chia, and other proteins that are really good for getting in that protein, especially if you're plant-based. They are made without any sugar, so they're made with coconut sugar, and they are made without any dairy, any eggs, any animal products in general. Overall, I'm grateful and happy with how everything came out. This is my first time filming this long of a video, so it will be posted to my YouTube. And as always, you can check out the individual recipes for each one of these on my TikTok at NE000__18. And then on Neo Naturals at NEONATURALS777. My YouTube is Neo's Newsletter and Naturals. Again, thank you guys for watching. Ashe, baby!